maybe you want some tips around meditation, or maybe we talk about like philosophy of the mind. It's totally up to whatever is going to be helpful for all of you. So I'm going to start with just a very quick meditation to bring us present. Then it's open to all of us. And then after the discussion, I'll guide a meditation covering the topics that we've discussed. So let's all close our eyes and get comfortable.
Precious, I swear to God.
So I invite you to play a little game with yourself. Tell yourself that any other sounds that you hear, it's just going to make you smile on the inside and make you imagine an even deeper sense of peace and calm.
Stop it now. Shall we go to the murder world?
You could imagine if you were sitting in a field meditating and you heard some birds chirping. It would just bring you peace.
Hello.
Just letting yourself.
Sorry. It's okay. Sorry, I end up being the troll today. Neojex, I was just making sure that everything was fine, so I can stay. Have a good session, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yes.
Wait one moment.
So bring your attention into your breath.
Wow, boy, you guys have a lot of points. What the? All right, let's get going.
Eyes closed. Every meditation, you are guiding yourself. So right now, just really feel your breath with all your attention. And you can ask yourself, what would really help you in your life right now? That could be a feeling that would help, or a different perspective, or some part of your life that you'd like to transform. Maybe you could imagine an enlightened version of you. Just a blissful, strong, confident part of you that's wise all the time. And maybe you're feeling that, and that's wonderful. We can keep growing that. Or maybe as you imagine that, the things arise in your mind that are the current blockages, what you need to transform to be able to imagine it. Either way, that's great. It all just makes the path clear for you. And so when you're ready, you can bring your attention back into the temple, aware of the people around you. want to open it up to all of you. We have any questions about enlightenment or any parts of our life that we'd like to make easier or better? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone?
Well,
yes, Creek.
Hey guys. Just a question that popped up into my mind. I've always assumed that I knew the answer. But how do you think Buddhism defines wisdom?
Oh, I don't know if I've read or heard and oh no, I have. I'm not one for like strict definitions because words are used differently all the time. But often I hear wisdom being used to mean approaches to life that don't have suffering. Approaches to life that are more likely to work more often. You know, the Eightfold Path with right effort, right attention, right meditation. The word right is translated differently in different languages. And, you know, in English, right kind of sounds like right or wrong. But in Tibetan, it's again, good. It's like, what's the way of being that will just keep being good? So I guess when we think of wisdom, it's finding the ways of being that are most helpful and also can be shared with others. But like I said, I haven't like heard a strict definition of wisdom. Maybe it's something other people would like to say what they think of when they think of wisdom or Buddhist wisdom. Creek, I know Casper had another question. Are you happy with that answer for now?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Casper.
well, yeah, just keep going with, trying to explore meditation in these sessions so I can, allow myself with my anxieties through my life. So, yeah, that's the main thing.
I hope that every one of us gets to a point that when we think about our life, we think of it as, here's this world for me to move through, and I will choose how to be and feel. So Casper said to help with your anxieties. So my intention is that very soon from now, when you think about life, you think about how you would like to feel and how you would like to approach things. My wish is that for you, anxieties is not even a part of your vocabulary in the near future. And in the meditation at the start of today, I invited you to imagine your enlightened self. So I hope that you can imagine yourself moving through every day with a sense of calm and positive feelings, whether you want to choose happiness or peace or feeling warm kindness. I'd hope that you could imagine your days where you bring the focus onto those positive feelings. In fact, I would love to guide a little meditation, particularly about that right now, as a springboard for more conversation. How does that sound for people?
That's good.
Sounds good.
Wonderful. So Samuel, welcome. We're just about to dive into a little meditation around well-being, especially in regards to a sense of calm and cultivating nice feelings. And Casper, especially because this was inspired by your comment, I'm going to keep my eyes open, and I hope to guide us into a place of feeling really, really good. And if there's any point where what I'm saying feels disconnected from you, can you just wave to me, and I'll try to... some way I like to think about our mind and our culture is you can stretch it a certain amount, and sometimes it stretches too much and we're just kind of disconnected. Like if I was to say to all of you right now, think of the people you care about. Have a little smile. Hopefully that's something everyone can do. Yeah. And then if I was to say, and imagine being a little more loving. Yeah. Some people will struggle with that. It's a little bit too much of a stretch. And then if I was to say, imagine you had infinite love and understanding for everyone all the time. Some people can imagine it. Some people find that too much of a stretch. Now, ideally, as practitioners, when you hear a positive thing that's too much of a stretch, you just let yourself keep imagining and you take yourself there. It might take a bit of focus and a bit more creativity, but you know you'll be able to get there. But sometimes our mind will hear this stretch and it will say, yeah, I can't get there. So while I'm guiding, I want to take us to bliss. But also, if I notice that someone's struggling a bit, I want to be able to bring it back so that we can follow along together. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, that was my full thought. Yes.
It does.
I was actually asking, is it Bilk Goat? Did I get your name right?
Black Goat.
Black Goat. Hey, cool. I noticed you moved around as I was saying that. Did you have something you wanted to say, or you just vibing with it?
I'm just vibing. I have ADHD, so it's hard for me to stay really still.
Totally cool. Great. So I'm going to be guiding this meditation, and if I offered to Casper if he feels like I've gotten too far away from where you can imagine or relate to wave, but actually that's open to anybody. If anyone feels at any point I'm getting too enlightened, give me a wave and I'll try and bring it back to more what we can relate to. But I want to stretch us into the most beautiful peace that we can get to. How's that sound?
That sounds good. Quick question.
Yes, please.
How do I know if a topic that's brought up is too far to stretch to? Will that be something I just know and I'll be able to raise my hand?
Yeah. Good question. What I meant is let's just say I imagine being peaceful all the time. And if you imagine it and you're like, yeah, I can kind of imagine this. I'm enjoying it. More peace. Yeah, that's good. If you're able to roll with it, great. But if I say that and you're like, no way I could imagine that, my anxiety's there. If you start seeing blocks, I hope that you then say, all right, I'm still going to try to imagine it. But if you try and then you're like, no, then give me a wave and I'll bring it back to where it's more manageable.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Are we ready? Excellent. I'm going to take an approach that is not so common with Buddhism for this meditation, at least for our beginning. It's a way that's very good for calming the body. So I'm going to take this strong beginning approach. I'm actually going to put my controllers down because I want us to clench up our hands. So I've turned my hands into a fist. And you can close your eyes now and feel into your fist. If you want to hold on to the controllers, It doesn't have to be a fist. You can just tense up the muscles in the hands. Whatever works for you. So you're tensing up the muscles, eyes closed, but then in your mind's eye, you can feel the thumb squeezing, and you can feel the fingers squeezing. And then move your awareness around through the hand. You can find some muscles in the palm of your hand and tense them up too. And you can feel the muscles that would pull the fingers apart. So pull them apart. But there's also the muscles that would pull them together. So like tense up everything in the hand. Tense it all up all at once. Take a deep breath in and tense a little bit harder. And your hands might be starting to feel a little bit warm or shaking a little bit. That's fine. And then take a deep breath in, hold it in, and tense even harder. And as you breathe out, let go and just feel the hands relaxing. Maybe you can feel the warmth flowing in or the relaxation flowing in. You feel yourself learning the feeling of letting go. And then we tense up our hands again. Explore through the hands, find every muscle, activate them. Then tense up the forearms. There's the muscles that would fold the hands down, and there's the muscles that would fold them up. Tense them both up. There's the muscles that would twist the hands. Feel all the muscles in the forearms, tense them. Then the muscles in the upper arms that would bend the arms and straighten the arms and twist the arms. Tense it all up. Tense harder. Feel the activation through the whole of the arms. Tension. Feel it. Stronger. Take a deep breath in and tense even harder. Hold the breath in. Fill up your lungs. And then let it relax and let the breath go. You may notice that you need to take those deeper breaths. All that oxygen that you're burning in the muscles, you can feel the warmth in the muscles. And each deep breath you take, just enjoying that feeling of letting go. Next deep breath you take, fill up the lungs again and hold it in. And when you breathe out, imagine that you're letting go again. Just that whole complete relaxation even further. You're just enjoying the feeling of peace and calm in the arm. And then take your awareness into the body, down through the hips and the legs, into the feet. And we're going to tense up our feet. Squeeze the toes, the muscles in the soles of the feet. Explore the muscles around the feet. And the muscles around the ankles and in the calves. The muscles that would lift the feet up and push them down and twist them side to side. Activate them all. More strongly, explore, feel them. Feel all the little muscles in your knees. How interesting it is to activate them all and play with them. The feet, the calves, the knees, all activated. And then the muscles in the thighs, upper leg, tense it all up. You might need to breathe deeper because the muscles are really strong and big. Tensing them, breathing. And then a deep breath in, fill up the lungs and tense as hard as you can. And then let go. Enjoy the feelings of the legs relaxing. Feel your arms and your legs. Now we're going to bring that relaxation into our torso. So feel into your hips. I want you to squeeze up your hips. You can squeeze your butt. There's other muscles there I'm not going to talk about. Just activating all the muscles in your hips. And then the muscles in your abs. Squeeze them. The muscles on the side of your body and the muscles in your lower back. Tense it up. And the muscles at the front of your chest. Squeeze them. The muscles on the side of your chest. And the upper back. And the shoulders. Tensing up your whole core. Feeling strong in your core. Explore around, find any muscles, and get them more strong. Tense it all up. Then we'll take a deep breath in, fill up the lungs and hold it in. Tense everything even more. And then let it all go. Enjoy the feeling through your core and your arms and your legs. Just 2 more steps. We're going to do our head and then we'll do the whole body all at once. So bringing the awareness up into the shoulders. You can start to tense up the shoulders and the back of the neck and the sides of the neck and your jaw. And maybe you can stretch the muscles behind your ears. You can squeeze your nose. Smile as wildly as you can. Look as angry as you can. Look as alert and excited as you can. Feel all the muscles on your face just all going full power. You can feel the muscles maybe at the top of your head and the back of your head. Just tensing up the whole of your head. Then take a deep breath in. And let your whole head become peace. The last one of these waves. So we turn our hands into fists. Tense them gently. Tense the arms gently. Tense the feet gently. The lower legs, the upper legs, hips, the lower back, the muscles around your guts, your chest, your upper back, your shoulders, your neck, your head. Then tense everything a little more. Feel your awareness moving around your body, exploring your body and finding every muscle you can. You're activating every muscle that your awareness finds. Maybe you're moving in slightly interesting shapes, just really tensing every part of your body up. Maybe you're feeling the warmth, maybe you're feeling the tension. Just really activating everything. Squeeze your hands tighter. Squeeze your feet tighter. Squeeze your nose tighter. Squeeze your shoulder blades tighter. Squeeze your guts tighter. Everything tighter as you take a deep breath in. Fill up the lungs, hold it in. And then completely let go. Keep taking deep, peaceful breaths and just enjoy the feeling of letting go in the body. Imagine that your body has just learned a greater feeling of letting go, a greater feeling of peace. Take some deep breaths, feel your body. Remember that feeling of letting go. As we go deeper into meditation, your eyes can become heavier. Your breathing. Let each breath feel more soothing. And that feeling of just letting the whole body relax. Imagine your whole self, your mind, your emotions, everything. Just imagine it all just shifting into this feeling of peace and calm. And you could imagine right now if something happened in here that was big or loud or shocking. You're pretty calm and soothed. So you'd be able to stay calm and soothed through that thing. And imagine if throughout your day you just kept connecting with a deep sense of peace. Researchers have shown that if you practice something regularly for 30 days, it's enough for it to be deeply part of who you are. Imagine if you were to practice being in this feeling every few hours, riding this feeling every day for 1 month, that it then felt part of you. Some of you are just enjoying that deep sense of peace. Some of you might have some other thoughts. Whatever comes up in your mind, imagine that part also becoming peace. Some of you might want to tailor the feeling, not just peace, but confidence, or warmth, or happiness. Just feel your whole self stepping into the feelings that you design. Some of you might want to imagine feelings beyond what you think you design. What would enlightened, blissful, ecstatic, infinitely wise feelings be like? Just feeling the beauty of being able to shift how you feel and how you focus and make it stronger and stronger. and more than something that just helps you from now. Feel it that you're transforming yourself. And in a moment when we come out of the meditation, we're going to talk about living each moment from our calm, peaceful, happy, enlightened way of being. So just bringing the goodness you just created with you. Taking a deep breath to energize the body. And then you could grab your hands again and have a little stretch. Just feel the nice feelings in the body. So what I would hope for this conversation now is that first I'd like to us to share whatever was really, really good, so we can like soak in the best feelings and thoughts that each other had, and then we can explore some of the harder bits, if there were any. So yeah, how was that? Did people get really? I think Creek got very, very relaxed. How was it for everybody?
A technical comment, I guess. The tensing thing was really cool. It's kind of like the mental body scan that Zenkai said has done, but the payoff at the end was a lot more noticeable, a lot more relaxed, with the full release of tension and then the exhale. So yeah, I'll definitely see if I can get back there without the tension, and if I can't, then I think I'll practice that, because that was nice.
I thoroughly recommend also practicing this regularly, and when you do it, it trains you. So next time you do just a mental scan, you'll be able to connect into those feelings more. Absolutely.
For me, it was quite, I mean, the tensing with the chest and all, that's kind of what sometimes happen when I have an anxiety episode, so that was quite, how do you call that, when you face something that's, I forgot the English word for it, intimidating?
Facing your fear, kind of.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And then after that, when we let go, was that a nice feeling of letting go?
It is, but there's always that voice in the back of my head trying to, distract me from not letting go, That's always the step to ignore and continue past it.
So one thing I'd hope for all of us is that we train our body to total peace and we just feel good all the time. But one thing that's really nice about that practice we just did is if you ever do notice yourself feeling tense, then you can remember that feeling of letting go. And as Casper said, there's other stuff came up. So you practice it a few times and you train yourself into, hey, I'm going to really let go. Yeah, so maybe Casper, I would like you to imagine something. Tell us how it is for you to imagine it. Imagine some anxiety comes up, your chest gets tight, and you notice it. And rather than giving space to those other voices, a part of you is just like, haha, I know what to do now. And it just dives into it. It just tenses up super strong. And then whoosh, lets go. Could you imagine yourself doing that? Kind of being playful with the experience and just exaggerating the letting go?
I don't know, that sounds like quite a challenge to do. It's like taking a step further.
Film The Matrix?
Sure.
Has anyone not seen The Matrix? Alright, do you remember the scene with Morpheus and Neo when they're first fighting? Come join us, have a seat. So, Morpheus is telling Neo, faster. And then, he's like, I can't move that fast. And Morpheus says, do you remember they're in virtual reality? And Morpheus says, do you really believe the speed you can move your hands has anything to do with your muscle in this space? Now, in our imagination, it's the same thing. We often constrain our imagination of what we think we can do by what we've done before. But I'm trying to free your mind. So if I say, like, imagine, I hope that you're allowing yourself to just imagine what it would be like. Even if you can't think, I would do it. Just imagine what it would be like. And then once you've experienced it in your imagination a couple times, then it becomes more possible for you to imagine you being able to do it. Black Goat, did you have something you wanted to say?
I really enjoyed that. I practice DBT as a way of therapy, which is heavily influenced by Buddhism. And one of the techniques that we use is called progressive muscle relaxation, which was very similar to that. And so I use it for insomnia. But I've never incorporated the idea of letting go when releasing the muscles, and I really like that.
Beautiful. I'm glad that you mentioned it in regards to insomnia. That's actually also where I first learned it, as a way to let go, to go into sleep. But I also love that it helps get us into deeper meditation and state. Creek, I think you got so relaxed you kind of did fall asleep, right?
So I went ahead and I gave it 150%. I figured if I found the muscle and then I was just gonna let it go, then I was like, all right, that part is just covered with that kind of buzzing feeling. And I was like, I'm just gonna let it die. And then part of the exercise was my neck and my lips and my eyes and my scalp, and I was like, I'm just gonna let it die. So yeah, I went ahead and just kind of slumped out.
Was your mind still present, or did you get dreamy when you did that?
So, actually, I was kind of sad that I didn't get to go into the dreamy state, unfortunately. And I resonated a lot with what Casper said. And I had this kind of moment where I figured that after, it was interesting to know that my body was completely okay with just fully letting go, but there was something in my mind that had this tension where it was so scared to also let go. But it was interesting to look at it not in a mad or frustrated way. It kind of just made me a little almost I guess not disappointed, but in the same way if like a dog or something messes up, or a little kid, you're not mad at them, but you're like, oh. So there was that moment there.
I have one thought I want to say that you just inspired, and then I want to come back to it. So Casper, if you found tensing the chest brings up these confrontations, you could also do the practice just focusing on the arms and the legs. Just working with what works well for you.
The issue is that I'm quite sensitive with heart palpitations. It's my number one freak out, you kind of get more, you notice it more often when you tense things up.
I'm pretty sure, I mean, you might need to check with your doctor, but I'm quite confident.
I went to a cardiologist, he says everything is in perfect order. I've done the whole ordeal.
Okay. So yeah, it's just the feeling of tension that causes that heart tightness. I get it.
That of my 5
so,
doctors
yeah,
I
you might
went
want to
to,
just
they're all
focus on
wrong.
the hands. You might want to do the tension thing just for the hands and the feet, and then after you let go, then you just imagine the peace through the rest of you, and just if you then later feel really good with that, then you could do more.
Sure.
Creek, I wanted to come back to what you were saying with the little puppy when it misbehaves. So, for all of us, when we're on our journey to be more enlightened, or to be calmer, or to be cool in a different situation, or any kind of way that we're training ourselves, we're not going to always perfectly be exactly what we want. There's this whole brain that's all adapting and growing and learning to get there. I need to clarify. I meant like in this attempt, we might not be perfectly what we want. I do definitely want you to feel that, hey, your goals right now, you could get there, and then you'll imagine being even more peaceful or more calm or more enlightened. You can definitely get to your goals, but the journey there is going to be a bit wobbly. Most of the time. Sometimes you might be able to imagine it so crystal clear that it happens. So Creek was saying, oh, when you see the puppy mess up, or when you see yourself do something not quite right, ah. So I want to ask ourselves, if we were to design our reaction to ourselves, like what are the kind of thoughts you'd have that would most help you be happy, or grow and transform, or be responding to yourself in a way that's kind and encouraging? What would that be if you were to design the reaction you have to yourself? I'd love to hear people's thoughts on that question. Let's give people a moment to think about it, Craig. Did my question make sense? Can I get a wave if people will know what I meant? Of you. Okay, so let's just drop the puppy metaphor for a moment. When you see yourself do something or feel in a way that's not really what you want, what's a nice way of responding to yourself or thinking about yourself? So to make it really like blatant, someone might see themselves do what they didn't want to do and they'd be like, oh, you suck. Or, oh, I knew I was going to do that. What's an alternative way of responding to yourself? And hopefully we can start to imagine what's a great way of responding to ourselves. So before we say it, I'd like people just to imagine for yourself, how would you like to respond super well to yourself as you're growing and transforming? How do you want to speak and think about yourself?
Well, I'd say to have belief in myself.
Awesome. That's such a great answer. Creek, could you imagine when you see the little puppy do what you didn't want it to be, that you actually look at it and go, I believe in myself?
Ekis, go ahead, because my answer is lengthy. So you go ahead, if that's okay.
I was just gonna say really quick, I guess I think of it as work things. Like for me, errors sometimes are a form of progression. So it leaves a memory imprint of, okay, this is what I'll do next time. Then it gives you a moment to kind of think and correct yourself. I think it feels more organic for me, I guess. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I actually love that answer. Mostly that's what I try to do. No judgment or no thinking to myself like, oh, you're okay. I actually just think, this is what I'm going to do next time. It's like just becoming what I want. I love that answer. Thanks, Ekis.
Yeah.
Creek.
Okay. No, so I'll say firstly, I really appreciate your approach of just allowing yourself to even imagine a step further. As somebody who comes from a pretty incredible place of always having to intellectualize everything out of insecurity, it's never been a possibility, so I really appreciate that. But my answer, I think my holdup currently is that I feel that there can't be progress unless I decide that there was a wrong or a right. You know, like, oh, you got to make sure, like specifically with art, I've been limiting, I suppose, myself to like, all right, you realize that the proportions on this are wrong, and because you know they're wrong, therefore you know how to practice right. It would be really interesting to imagine a way where I can still understand what is not desirable and what is desirable without kind of mixing the lines, because I still want to be able to learn from every experience, but I'm still stuck on, well, then you have to delineate right and wrong. And I think that's where that little person in my head is, that little insecurity that kind of gets bogged down.
I find it really interesting that you use art as an example, because for me, if someone makes a drawing and the proportions are wild, then that's just another piece of art. Yeah, I could even imagine some artists be like, hey, I'm going to explore getting more and more wild with proportions because I just want to see what I do with that. And what do you think of that?
So I think that there is a lot to be learned with exaggeration when it comes to skills, right? Because then once you have seen a kind of large scale opportunity and what they call, I guess, would be when you have a wide range of options, maybe you can kind of pick what you've liked best out of them, and then you have more tools to utilize. My only issue with this is maybe I'm not viewing my experience as art, because I would say that exaggerating some part of my experience might not be a good option. Like, to fully exaggerate my insecurity might not be a good option, but I guess in the thing that we just did, to fully exaggerate my tension and then let it go was pretty great. So maybe that is the option. Oh, your microphone. Is it? Yeah,
Sounds like you're talking through a tin
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's rejoining probably.
Yeah, it usually fixes it.
Oh, he went to Nirvana.
How's that? Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, he's
Yeah,
back.
much better.
Yep.
Nirvana was a short trip.
So I wanted to say that there are definitely some approaches to therapy, normally not done by professionals, but that I've seen in different self-help groups, where they will exaggerate negative things or things that are hurting, and they'll go into it. And yeah, after you've done it, it's relaxed. But the studies have shown, this is called catharsis, like moving through something. Studies have shown that a little while later, that part of you is actually stronger. So today's exercise, I didn't actually want us to practice being anxious. We were just tensing up our muscles, physical tension. And yeah, I want your muscles to be stronger, absolutely. I don't want the learned feeling of tensing up to be stronger. So what we were practicing then was just muscle tension. Whatever states of mind we practice, we'll have more of. So be careful. Like, if you want to practice being more silly or funny or wacky, great. I mean, I don't think that's going to be too bad. some artists might say they want to practice being sadder or more anxious. My view of a wonderful world doesn't have more of that, so I'm not in favor of that. I've seen people who are in favor of it. I would like a world where we practice the kind of feelings that everyone would like all the time. So yeah, definitely don't want to encourage you to exaggerate the things that you wouldn't want to cultivate. The reason I was like, hey, it's just another piece of art, is I was trying to be like, hey, let's be more playful with life. Let's be all right to explore a bit more. So
Yeah,
if you're, yeah.
I was just gonna say, so this might be a better way to illustrate it, because I agree with you. So maybe a better way to illustrate it is this: like, if I was the captain of a ship, it's like possibly not that maybe I have some level of like a course where I want to go. I'm okay with, I guess, being, here or there. That's part of the fun of it. But I think what happened is, after I tensed, and then let it all go, it allowed me to have a really clear vision, possibly, of where I am on the course. And it wasn't necessarily where I wanted to be, possibly, which doesn't mean it's bad, but it was just an interesting observation that I saw past the letting go sensation. It was interesting that my body could feel so clear and so obviously in an experience, and yet my mind feel that it's somehow different from there.
I have a little journey that I want us to take on.
Okay.
So Casper and I actually spoke earlier in the last day about the journey of peace and calm, and he's mentioned it a few times today: anxiety and other thoughts getting in the way. So I'm actually going to focus on him. But not all of us are struggling with anxiety. So as I'm working with him, I want you to be looking within yourself on your journey to enlightenment. So when he has a little thought of oh, Casper, I hope this is a fair me copying you. When he has a thought of, oh yeah, but my anxieties will come up, I want you to look at, when I say be infinitely enlightened, did you have some thought of oh yeah, but I'm just a regular person? So as I'm trying to talk Casper into a place of seeing himself really being able to have calm every day, I want you to take yourself as awesome as you can. You might also just be wanting to get to calm each day. Or maybe you've already got calm every day, and you could be imagining yourself being confident or strong or kind to yourself. Or even beautiful, blissful states of enlightenment or wild compassion. The amount of goodness we can do with our mind when we really step into it, that's where I want you to go. But I'm going to be with Casper where he's at. How does that sound for everybody?
Yeah, sounds good.
That's all right, yeah.
All right, Casper, a question for you. You've said in the meditations that they help you have some sense of calm. Is that a yes?
Yes.
And can you imagine that more you practice that, the nicer the calm will feel?
Sure.
Bit by bit, I'm just going to try and work you up to nicer feelings. And it's not just an intellectual exercise. I hope to also be training you into that. Okay, so you can imagine that you practice it and you'll have more calm. Now, could you imagine you get to a point where you know that, you believe that, and so when a thought comes up that's anxious, the part of you that knows you can make calm is strong enough to look at that other thought and go, hey, I can be calm.
I think I'll be able to do that eventually with practice, indeed.
Wonderful. Now, do you feel like right now you could imagine what that experience is like?
I do think so, yeah.
Awesome. So, we're just going to have a moment to level up. Whatever you guys are thinking about, whether it's you having calm or you being more blissful or more strong or whatever you were, I want you to just take that step. We're going to have just 30 seconds. You imagine embracing that and that being stronger, like you're practicing it and training it. I'm going to guide it for Casper. You adjust it to be awesome for you. So, I'm just going to say it again, Casper, just so you can feel it more and make it stronger. You know that you can step into calm, and you know you can make that happen. And every day, you're believing that more in your bones, deeper in yourself, that you have this peace. And the more times you practice feeling it, the easier you can step into it and the better it feels. And the more times you've done that, the more you believe and you know you can get there quickly. And the part of you that knows that can start pouring their love and their peace onto the other parts of you. So as you just breathe, I want you to imagine just having this trust and believing in yourself. There is peace inside you, and you can connect with it, and you can make it feel good. And you can learn to have the peaceful feelings in different times, even times that a while ago might have seemed impossible. How is that for everybody?
That was good.
So I want us now to take an intellectual jump. Forget about feeling it or imagining it. I just want you to ask yourself if intellectually you can imagine this. So you know that you can learn it and you can practice it. Can you envisage or conceptualize feeling and practicing that so much that you make it wildly strong? Like, you know, when you were a little kid and learning to read was hard and you had to concentrate on it, but now a word could be there and you'll just be able to read it without even trying. Can you imagine the part of you that makes peace or wisdom or compassion or strength or whatever it is, the part of you that's calm, getting so good that your whole self becomes calm? Like any part of you that used to be anxious, you can look at it and be like, okay, that part of me is calm too. Like the intellectual jumping into, I'm choosing that I'm going to think about myself with that lens. Creek's a yes. Other people? Ekis is a yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Microphone again.
Microphone again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, I'll just reboot.
Oh, it's back.
All right.
There we go. Yeah.
You're good.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Weird. So my experience has been, if you think, or someone thinks that change and healing is going to take a long time, the amount they let themselves imagine the change and the healing is just a little bit more each time. They're on the trajectory that they imagine themselves to be on, so they let themselves take those steps. And if we allow ourselves to go into wildly more peaceful imaginings or wonderfully more caring transformations, the more we can step into it, the more it impacts us. If I think, one way I like to think about it is, let's say I'm an artist. I've got a work of art, and I want to change it. So I could paint over it a little bit, change a few things, and then a little more, and then a little more, and do like 50 different versions to get from that work of art to what I had in mind. Could also just draw the final version. And even when I do that, I'll probably still want to like fix it up a little bit. And when it comes to our brains rewiring, I actually think it's very much like that artwork. We feel like we make little changes because that's just what we're used to. But actually, if you imagine a big change, that gets wired up in your brain. I hope intellectually that is kind of freeing for you to be able to imagine being calm or being an enlightened being. Stepping into what you want the masterpiece to look like so that that gets painted into yourself. I'd love to hear people's thoughts about that. Creek?
I think it's really cool.
Hey.
I don't know if this is related to this or not, but I think it's just an interesting fact of the how the mind works that you might be able to work into this, and it's about coloring footage when you're working with footage colorists, and it's the fact that when you're, let's say, and this could work for painting as well, when you are looking at the same colors, I think it's for about 14 minutes. Or if you're working with the same frame for about, your mind and your eyes actually get used to all the colors and they start blending the colors together. You don't notice the same intensities. So I guess I've always used that as, if you focus way too hard at things or try to keep tweaking imperfections, the more blind you will literally become if you just keep focusing on that one frame, that one thing, those one set of colors. I just think thought that was interesting.
Absolutely. This is one reason why I'm excited about people being able to be free and change quickly. Because if you're like, hey, today I'm infinite love. Tomorrow I can laugh at anything. Tomorrow I can really forgive those people in my family. The next day I'm gonna go and learn some new acrobatics. Like if you're transforming quickly, your mind not only is more fun and it's empowering, but it also minimizes that problem of being stuck. I've seen people who think that change is slow and like this one issue becomes an issue for them for a long time, and they're just like caught up in it. And yeah, I want you all being playful, like happy, kind, enlightened. I'm using these general things because I don't know what's going on in your life, but I also want you to be an awesome artist or a great film director or a great movie editor or an awesome computer programmer or like whatever it is you're doing. I want you to bring your awesomeness to all of those different things. And so the more we feel our mind is free and we're able to imagine being awesome, the more we can do that. So Casper, my analogy of the painting and being able to paint over the top, I hope that when you're imagining that and thinking about it, you could, whether you can feel it or whether it's just intellectual, imagine a Casper who is total peace and calm. And yeah, I don't have to like paint the picture for you. You know it. So I just hope that you make that idea of the ideal person and step into it.
Planning to.
Oh man, I wish I could give you a hug right now. Ekis mentioned something that I wanted to... Let's go there, I'll come right back to you. He was saying about the colours and this idea of repainting our mind. So I actually used to be a really angry person. I grew up in a neighborhood where there was a lot of violence, and growing up I didn't really have many people who were kind to me, and I had a lot of people who were mean to me, and I got more isolated and more angry. And then I read about compassion meditation, and I thought, well, a world where everyone hates each other, or at least my world where I hate everyone, or a world where everyone loves each other. I'm going to choose the world where everyone loves each other. And I'd already learned about this idea of reprogramming our brain, so I was excited that, hey, I'm going to step into that. So I started doing compassion meditation, and it was similar to the ones we've done here. This practice was, think of someone who you care about, just care about them, and then after a day or two, you'll think about more friends and care about them, and a week later, you'll think about all the people that you feel okay about and feel extra nice and warm to them, and a week later, you're feeling kindness and warmth out to the whole world, and then a week later, you're even sending love to the people who'd beaten you up. And then a week later, I'm love for all of existence. So I was doing like half an hour of love and kindness meditation every day, just letting that flow more and more. And I first started, I was like, I don't care about anyone. How the hell am I supposed to imagine love? And luckily I was able to go, oh, I guess my mum's okay. And that was like enough of a little glimpse for me to start growing it. But it was hard. It was just a little glimpse, but I had to like grow and grow that glimpse. And I can say like 3 weeks later, I was able to think about the people who'd been beating me up and just feel love and warmth and kindness to them. But the reason I wanted to say that right now is Ekis was saying about like different colors. I wasn't able to imagine that at the start. I was kind of imagining a world where everybody loves each other. But I couldn't be like, yeah, I'm definitely going to have love for that guy who banged my head against a tree. But I could think of a world where everybody loves each other. And so then the first 2 weeks, I was taking my mental paintbrush and dipping it in, yeah, my mum's nice. Oh, look, I'm getting it brighter, feeling good about the other people who were okay to me. Oh, I'm imagining that getting brighter and warmer and nicer. Oh, and look, as I think about those other okay people and paint some love onto them in my mind, it gets even brighter. And so I'd like made this color of like awesome love and kindness. And then I was able to look at those people who'd been horrible to me and just pour the awesome love and kindness onto them. Just inside myself. Like I was just, wow, I can now think about them with this awesome love and kindness. And yeah, I was able to paint in the love and kindness to my whole self. And yeah, it wasn't perfect. Sometimes I'd go to parties over the next few months and there'd be a fight and I'd run in and just be like, love and peace, everybody, and it would work. But then sometimes someone would say something and find a little crack into, like, push a button in myself. But I was been practicing mindfulness. So I'd be like, oh, like Eka said, when he sees something that's not right, he asks, what does he want to do instead? I'd be like, oh, there's a button. Okay, next time someone pushes that button, he phrases even more enlightened. So yeah, watching carefully, I had this beautiful color that I was able to paint into my brain. So Casper, when you have moments of peace or you do body relaxations, just know that every one of them is like a greater color in your mental palette that you can paint around more and more. And the more often you practice it, and especially the more you imagine yourself as a peaceful person, the more wonderful it will become. Hey, I'm curious. Casper and I had spoken before, and I said I really wanted to focus on bringing some peace and love or calm to him, or like some antidote to the anxiety. But I'm curious with everybody else, as I've been giving him extra attention tonight, have you been able to relate it to yourself, your own enlightenment, your own whatever it is that'll be good for you right now?
Oh, very much. I have like so much anxiety myself, so it's very, very relatable.
Beautiful. What about anyone who doesn't have anxiety? Were you able to like translate it to things that are helpful for you?
I wouldn't say I'm a very anxious person, but I spend most of the time thinking about ways the method would be applicable to me. I won't lie, I've been somewhat distracted, but probably the thing that I think I should focus on most right now is, I guess I bounced around between a few things. But I guess the first is, not being so hard on myself, accepting failures.
Wait, before we move on, could you rephrase that for me?
Okay, so not punishing myself for behaving in a way that I don't think I want to embody myself as.
All right, I'm going to ask again. This time I want you to not say the word not or don't. What is it you want to do instead of rather what do you not want to do?
Well, what I want to do is enact change on myself, and what I don't want is to start a slippery slope when a failure happens and continue back into my own habits that I've proven to myself aren't beneficial in the long term.
Okay, so the rephrasing of not being hard on yourself is I was hoping to get to something like you want to be kind to yourself. Does that make sense? Does that sound true?
I think it does, but I come back to if I'm kind to myself and I accept my failures, will I change and be the person that I want to be?
All right. Could you imagine a way of being kind to yourself that also strongly transforms yourself?
Like positive reassurance or the acceptance of failures. I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to do. But I'll be honest right now, no.
Let's step out of something that's so heated, something you're judging yourself for, and imagine, do you play a sport?
I have in the past. I work out at the gym now. I used to be a goalie for 15 years.
All right.
Hockey.
When you did something as a goalie that wasn't as good as you wanted, but it was still alright.
I was never able to do the splits. I tried and tried and tried.
I'm guessing I'm trying to find something where you made a mistake, but I mean, maybe you were always hard on yourself and that's how you got better. But I'm hoping there was also some times where you were like, hey, I did all right, and I want to do it like this next time. Was there times where you were kind to yourself and also still improving?
No, I think I've always been hard on myself.
All right, so
Probably a learned behavior.
Creating a way of thinking of yourself that's encouraging and makes you get better. This is something for you to contemplate.
Yeah.
I hope that I encourage you to be more enlightened, and I'm always kind and warm to you.
Always.
Could you imagine being like that towards yourself?
I could, but like I said, I think if I did that to myself now, then I just regress back into my old stoner habits, and
all right.
It's not the person
now
I want to be.
Let's be careful as a brain engineer. I didn't say imagine a way of being kind to yourself and regress. I said imagine a way that's kind to yourself that makes you get enlightened. So as you're practicing and creating the new mindset, watch carefully. If you're practicing it, oh yeah, I'll be kind to myself, sort of want to get in line, but I'll regress. That's what you'll program into your brain, and that's what you'll create. And if you say to yourself, I'm going to create a way that's kind to myself, makes me awesome, and strongly makes me feel excited and powerfully able to make the right decisions. If you said it to yourself like that, that's what you'll get.
I think I'm willing to try that. I just really need to think about how I get myself there.
I guess every time I say it to you and expose you to it, then it
helps.
It's growing in your subconscious. So I hope you also just start like telling yourself, hey, I can do that. And it feels good to be empowering to myself. And maybe just take the approach to your brain as a brain programmer. If everything's a program, I mean, you're a programmer. That's enough. If you were just to imagine that everything you put into your head is a program, even the thoughts of, will I slip it back or not? It's all programs. So be careful what you program.
I think some things got in early before we had code reviews.
Yeah, I mean, you can meditate and look really carefully and reprogram those too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I will say, I put my hand up a little earlier because I don't know if you can tell, I've been a little distracted today. There's been something that's going on that's kind of solemn, so I didn't really want to derail us earlier, but it kind of relates to some of the teachings that you gave last week, so I was wondering if you wanted me to tell that story, or what's currently distracting me.
So I would love to. I promised my wife I'm going to have a hard stop at 8. So we've got half an hour, and I'd like to include a meditation for everybody. So given that that's our time frame, do you want to give the short version, or would you like to talk about it with me some other time?
How about I give the short version and end it on one pointed question?
Perfect. Let's do that.
Yeah, okay. So I hope I don't bring anybody down with this story, but it's been a bit of a solemn week for me. So I guess I'll start. A few years ago, our chief technical officer, who's also the code lead for the company I work for, hired his son as an intern, and he's worked with us. And since I was the second youngest at the time, I got to spend a lot of time with him and showing him the ropes. He was a cool kid. Had some things in common. I moved away to work from home, but he continued to work for the company, and I interact with him every couple of weeks. He's probably a year or two younger than I am. Well, found out yesterday that he passed in his sleep. 24-year-old kid. So we've all been pretty broken up, of course. I'm thinking about where I'm going with this. So I've been thinking a lot of our conversation last week, and I think for the most part, his death hasn't broken me up too bad. Besides, if I were to look at it analytically, it's a really close brush with impermanence. Like, this kid was younger than I am and had no known conditions, and he just passed in his sleep. It's not like he suffered. He wasn't in pain or anything. But what really gets me, his father, Terry, was kind of like a mentor to me. And I don't know how to deal. I'm a very empathetic person, as you can probably tell. I can't find the words to say to him. I don't know if he'll ever be better. I don't know how to sit with that. It's not the death that was broken up. For the most part, I've accepted that he's passed. I'll miss his memes in the fun channel of Slack. That's not what I'm hung up on. I'm hung up on how it's going to affect Terry, his only son, 24 years old. Just yeah, I guess that's the question. How do you deal with knowing other people are in pain and not being able to help? Because I think that will be the hardest part of death for me.
I mean, there's a lot of different wise things I've learned that I think I could help with right now, and I'm going to share them. But before I just jump into them, I just, I want you to know that we also care about you here.
Thank you.
And where do I start? I think one thing, it's one of the things that always comes to mind with me with death, is you're going to have this person in your memory maybe for the rest of your life. I mean, conditions might change, you might go somewhere else, and this chapter might fade away. But if you want to, you've got this memory for the rest of your life. And that's true for any of us when we lose someone. And I ask myself, when I think of someone I've lost, what do I want to feel? And if I'm still in a place where it hurts, imagine 5 years from now or 10 years from now, what do I want to feel? And I actually hear that there was this bright, young, nice person. You got to mentor him. He was a friend. He was a source of warmth. So I hope in a little while you'll look back and you'll just really appreciate that you got to share some time with this person.
I'll be honest, I think I handled his death really well. I don't know how to interact with his father, Terry, who I work with every single day. That's the part that's I can't swallow. So I don't know how he's ever going to get over it, because if I put myself in his shoes, man, I don't know. I say I'd be able to do it, but I don't know if I could.
So I actually think you being able to be in this place of appreciation and calm and love. You don't necessarily have to tell him the thought processes you took to get there, but you being a source of strength and warmth for him will help him. And then as you're talking, if you've spent more time imagining him being soothed and him having, same thing for him. He's gonna have the rest of his life. I hope he gets to the point where his son is mostly beautiful memories and heartwarming thoughts. And so while you're hanging out with him and talking to his father, perhaps it'll come up where you can talk philosophy with him and you'll be able to help him jump into that. Or maybe not. Or maybe just little words, little perspectives. Gotta nudge him in that direction. But no matter
feels
what,
dangerous because like I haven't been there. So I'm not even sure I can wrap my head around what he's going through. Like I feel like there's nothing I can do besides being supportive. And I guess that helps.
absolutely it helps. Yeah. So one thing that's coming to my mind is the head of Google X. He lost his son around the same age, and he'd poured his whole life into making his son amazing. And he now travels the world teaching about happiness. He was so struck by his son's death. It was like unbearable. And he was forced to then look at his mind and figure it out. And he's written books about it, and he has an institute about engineering the mind for happiness, inspired by his son's death. My entire journey... Pardon?
I said I might have to give that a read.
My entire journey into meditation and enlightenment came from my cousin committing suicide. So while things might be really hard for Terry right now, in general, the human mind finds a way. So being there, loving him, caring for him right now, even if you can't see what he's going to be, how it's going to get better, knowing that he'll get there will be good for both of you.
I think that really helped. Thank you.
And I also want to emphasize that if your presence around him is calming, if your presence is appreciating his son, that rubs off on him. You might want to, you got to read the situation, but I find this idea of like, hey, what are the memories I want to have? Let's practice them now. And asking people, what were some of the things that mean the most to you? Almost always, that goes down really well. Just say to him, hey, let's practice how he's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Which is, you want it to be loving and warm and cherishing. So like I said, I don't know him, read the situation carefully, but that can be a really helpful conversation to have.
I'll keep that in mind. I think everybody probably wants the meditation. I do, for sure. Thank you. I feel like I had to get that off my chest.
Thanks for sharing, and I hope everyone here feels like we're here for each other. I mean, I know it was me speaking, but yeah, after the meditation I have to go. Hopefully you can all be there for each other and know that whatever's going on for you, we're here for each other too.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I think I had like the worst day in my life this past Monday, and everyone here helped me get through that, and in a way that it wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have access to this community. So I want nothing more than to, even if it is just a presence, to be lit to listen to others. I'm absolutely here for you, bro. In any way, man.
Appreciate it.
Even if it's just to hang out, you know, outside of Buddhism to get your mind off stuff too, bro. So, and that goes for everyone, newcomers, anyone. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a hug after this, man. All right.
That's right. Better line up.
I need one today.
Do you ever hug his dad?
No, he's not really the hugging type. He's also 9,000 kilometers away. Sadly.
Oh, that makes it harder to hug him.
Yeah. I work on the east coast of Canada, and the office is in the west coast, Vancouver, so next time I see him, I think I'll probably break that barrier, though, even if it's late.
Yeah, but you might want to say to him, send you a virtual hug. Like I was saying, I don't know him, but if you imagine him being soothed, I think your subconscious can figure out what you'd say or what you'd do that would give him that soothing. Okay, I'm aware that I have 17 minutes, so, does anyone have anything more they want to say about that to debrief? Or is everyone okay to go into meditation?
It's okay for meditation.
Karik?
Just very quickly wanted to say, through your talking through the process, through Casper and your conversation with Scott, and also preparing us to kind of apply that to our own selves, in addition to allowing oneself to imagine greater, I had a lot of really good insights, and I appreciate it so much, dude. Thank you.
You know, the reason that brings my hands to my heart is I kind of feel like what you said is sacred. You know, in one sense, enlightenment's so easy. Just think of peace and love all the time. And yet, our minds are all caught up in all this stuff, and there's just all these steps we take to let go of the stuff. And I just really cherish that we are here for each other, and that we get to do this beautiful process together. All right, let's meditate. I invite everybody to get comfortable. Maybe roll your shoulders around. Oh, you guys can't see me move my shoulders. I'm having a little dance here. I just want you to like loosen up your body. We just talked about some heavy stuff. Maybe there's a little bit of sadness you feel. Just gonna shake it out a little bit. And then bring your hands into meditation. Feel your eyelids And just slowly close them and imagine them becoming heavy. And then bring your attention to your breath. And you can remember in the Matrix when they first plug into VR and go to that world where everything's just white, the expanse. It's like a perfectly clear mind where you could load up anything. So as you just breathe, just hear the breath. Just feel the breath. Imagine the mind becoming just perfectly clear. In each moment of the breath, and in the feeling of this expansive stillness. Or you might notice other thoughts. And if you do, the moment you notice them, just breathe and imagine that part of you just becoming the white expanse. Still just hearing and feeling the breath. You can also remember the relaxation from our earlier meditation. Just feel whatever parts of it were nice. Whatever parts of you felt letting go. The body at peace. The mind at peace. Bringing yourself more into the breath and more into the expansive stillness. You'll notice your awareness and your mind more, and you're taking it deeper into stillness. Staying with the breath, I'm just going to put this idea into your subconscious. We talked earlier about painting over a picture. But as you breathe, just feel that you're moving into that place where your mind is a perfectly blank canvas. Where it would be easy to imagine any way of being or feeling. Imagine a mind of total freedom. If you're going deeper and deeper into that stillness and peace, please just stay in the breath, go deeper and deeper. Otherwise, I want you to notice how your awareness moves, whatever little thoughts are happening, and just watch how you steer your awareness. Treat it like a little game. Just keep bringing your awareness into feeling more calm, more peaceful, hearing the breath more fully. The little moment where everything just disappears, go into that a little more and more of those moments. Just learning how to guide your mind with the breath and the peace as the target. Deeper and deeper stillness. Letting go everything. You might like to imagine the profound stillness, the perfect peace. If you'd been meditating into deeper and deeper stillness for an hour, or a year, or 10,000 lifetimes. Now let yourself remember any insights from tonight, or any ideas or feelings that you'd like to meditate on. And remember, you're painting the picture. So whatever comes to mind, let yourself imagine feeling it or doing it in a way that's easy and natural and awesome. feel yourself as a brilliant brain programmer, a wonderful mental artist. And for the last minute of the meditation, put up in whichever way you would like. And then watch your attention. See when you decide to start coming out of the meditation. Watch when you choose to open your eyes. And keep watching. Where's my attention go? What am I thinking? What feelings do I bring my focus onto? What thoughts do I allow to arise in my mind? Give them more attention, or do I direct to something else? Just keep watching the mind. Now I just want to invite everybody to stand up.
Oh, your microphone. It's doing that thing.
Is that better?
Oh, there you are. Yep.
Hey.
Yep.
So Monday nights they finish for the dedication. I don't have that written here, but we're going to do something similar. So let's bring our hands to our hearts. And I just hope you can meditate or say this dedication to yourself. I dedicate the time that I put into tonight to my own enlightenment. I dedicate that in whatever way it helps me, that it can help the people that I care about. And that ultimately, wisdom and enlightenment can be for everyone.